Developing professional soccer players is about creating an ROI, return on investment, that makes the time, money, and energy spent on that development worth it. This video is going to be about that ROI and why we're kind of failing the ROI at this point. My name is Seth Taylor. I am from Ianni Training. I'm the Director of Content for Ianni Training. We are a company that is invested in revolutionizing the world of youth sports. We are trying to change the culture to be a healthy one where we build athletes on top of a healthy human foundation, child development and human development. We are trying to wake up parents, coaches, directors to what it is to create good, healthy, happy children who then can become good, happy, healthy adult athletes without any ceiling on them. Okay, so this is right in the wheelhouse. If you are a director of an academy, okay, or you're a director of any system that's trying to create professional athletes, then the main thing you are focused on is called ROI, return on investment. I dumped this much time, energy, and money over this many years into this player in order to create a professional soccer player or to sell them to a club to make money from my club. So ideally, if I put 50 grand into developing this player, then if I could sell them for 300 grand, then I have a good return on investment. That's the idea. Now, the problem is that we're creating professional athletes. Homegrown players are being signed in MLS all the time out of their academies, but almost none of them, very few of them, are actually having any impact whatsoever. We tend to push up and highlight the ones that do. The very few that do, they get sent to Europe. Alphonso Davies or people like there's some of the kids coming out of the Dallas Academy. We highlight them, or a Jordan Morris, but we don't actually highlight the fact that we're signing 5, 6, 7 kids a year. Some of these clubs are signing 5 kids a year in homegrown players out of their academies, and those players never get sold, never get actually developed into professional athletes that can participate on the first team, and are released within a year or two. Most of them sign a 2-year contract and are gone, and they never actually can return that investment. Now, the reason is because they have, for the most part, the American system creates players that have what I call an emotional ceiling over their heads because of the trauma that they endure in the American system. Okay, starting at a very early age, they live in a survival-based relationship with the game. Most of these kids have learned how to earn love through soccer because we start them at too young of an age and too structured of an environment. And by the time they get to be 13, 14 years old, they're already working to earn love. They are realizing on an unconscious level that this is how I survive. This is why there's so little joy in the game. This is why we have to constantly remind kids to have fun. And when they get signed to that first team, there's talent there, but then they get to that first team and the threat to that love is so intense because the competition is so intense that their bodies begin to shut down. I've worked with so many homegrown players, and they get to that level and there's no safety in that space, but unconsciously they're still seeking it like their children. Pretty normal thing. And you'll watch kids and they play scared. I heard an MLS coach recently told a friend of mine, he said, the kids that come up and I know they're killing it at the U17 level, but they get here and they play safe. They're not adventurous. They're not bold. They're not killers. And if we're going to create those kinds of players, then we have to actually examine the emotional foundations on which they were built, because it's killing our ROI. Like right now, the academy system is losing money. And there's people even at the highest levels in MLS wondering why we even have one if we're not going to develop players that are actually making it worthwhile, selling players, making money from these athletes. Well, if we want to do this, here's what we got to do. I had another director of an academy ask me, well, what would you do? And I said, first and foremost, I would put somebody like myself on every single academy staff, and I would build a psychological profile of every player. But it wouldn't be a profile of what their mentality is. It'd be a trauma profile. What is the blockage within them to keep them from improving to the levels they need to? If I put them on the first team, they should be able to keep getting better and better and better and better and better, but they don't. Why? And we have to seek to understand that. So if you are an academy director, go to iannitraining.com, fill out one of our forms, contact us, sit down with us. We can help you understand this. We're sitting down with clubs all the time, MLS academies all the time. We're putting our resources, our books into those academies to help them revolutionize the way their parents understand this, the way their coaches understand this, open up their consciousness and get deep enough to understand what's really developing these players. Soccer is deep. And if we want to have a solid ROI, we have to open ourselves up to something more than simple little mind games of trying to control our behaviors or our positive thoughts. It's better to have a quiet mind than a positive mind, and we have to create players that are like that inside. So go to iannitraining.com, check it out. We can't wait to talk to you. We are passionate, as you can probably tell, about this. We'll talk to you soon.